Here we are again. Let me bring this up a little bit more so I can actually speak to you, everyone. Is that it? Sunset, right? Golden hour. That's really the prime time to be taking pictures, especially as a photographer. This is my freaking face now. Stay. I took my car down to the park, which is a really nice area, by the way. It's really nice. A little bit at the end of golden hour kind of time frame, and I took pictures of it like I normally would to post onto Instagram or whatever else social media. My Facebook page, which is CC Photo Productions, by the way, on Facebook if you want to go follow. What happened was when I took the picture, it looked like this. And with that, it looked awful. I mean, honestly, it's really hazed out, I guess you could say. The shadows are just The color is just and I wanted to fix that. But whenever I went to edit it the first time, nothing was working the way I wanted it to. It looked like shit. So yeah, it looked really bad, and I went ahead piece by piece and broke down this picture completely, literally piece by piece, and constructed myself a picture of my car. And with that, I recorded it and I wanted you guys to see it. So here we are again at my computer. You guys know the deal if you saw my first video, which if you go on my channel and look back, this is my journey with photography and learning and everything I do. And with this, I learned something. I learned to take a photo piece by piece to get the look that I want, especially at sunset, which I want that orangish, nice looking. Yeah, I want that sunset feel. And of course you can get that, but with this picture, I took like 4 photos and it just looked like crap. But I was able to construct it the way I want to. Remember, your pictures are only as good as your edits. And this really shows that more than anything. Let's go ahead and dive into the iPad and show you guys exactly everything I did. And yeah, let's hop down into it. So this is my 2015 Mk7 Volkswagen Golf R in lapis metallic blue, and it is my dream car and I own it, and you will be seeing a lot of pictures of it because I love taking pictures of my car. This is what started my whole photography, videography thing. And over the course of you guys following this, you might see a lot of photo shoots with it because I absolutely love shooting this car so much. We're looking at changing a few things before we actually edit the picture. As you guys might have saw in my last video, what I do first is I pick a profile. After I pick a profile, I then go to the actual scaling, aspect ratio, the cropping of it, all that. I usually run 16:9 or so. And then I move on to the temperature. And then I start editing the photo from there. There's a bunch of different routes I go, but usually I'll pick out the most stuff that needs to be edited, like the highlights need to be taken down or the exposure needs to be put up. And then I move into certain things like taking the pen tool and starting to color in the paint. Now allow me to stress this one more time like I did in the last video. This is my style. This is my art. This is my way of editing. You don't have to do this, okay? Now that we got that out of the way, the first thing I end up doing whenever I get done with the profile and all the other stuff that I just said because I can't bring it off the top of my head, I paint the car. I take the brush tool, I take my Apple pencil, and I color in the paint of the car. That way I can focus on just the paint and make it the way I want to. I can adjust the color of it. It's a blue car, all right? So if I need to make that more warmer of a color because of the setting that it's in, then I can do that by adjusting the paint. I can also make the car look more glossy by upping the clarity, upping the contrast, that sort of stuff, and painting with the brush tool on the car's paint allows me to be able to do that more accurately. So I'm gonna go ahead, speed this thing up a little bit. You guys will see me at the end of it. Now, some people might say, hey man, that's way too much work to put into a picture, and some may say you didn't put enough into it. Well, me, like I said in the beginning, I want to depict this whole picture and edit it piece by piece to make it the way I want to, just because of how crappy it looked after I took the photo. And that first step is starting with the paint of the car. And now that everything's done, we can go in and edit everything step by step for the paint, like exposure, shadows, highlights, go into the clarity to give it more gloss, saturation, different things that we need to do before we start messing with the background or the grass, anything else that's left there. I even go in separately and I start doing the headlights. You'll see as it comes around, but this is, in my opinion, an essential first step that we need to focus on before moving further, because the car is the main thing in the picture. Because it's the main thing, we need to make sure it's top notch. And before I go any further, yes, I did change t-shirts. It is the next day, and if you look outside, it's daylight. The last time you saw me, it was nighttime. This one's taken longer than I thought because I got stuff I gotta do in between, so deal with it. New shirt. Yeah. Now we need to do the background. I always do the background next. You take a gradient filter, you cover the entire back, and then erase whatever your main subject is in the picture. For this example, I mean, it's a car, just erase all the red that's around the car. And from there, we can really focus on darkening the background, upping the clarity, doing things like that, like lowering the highlights, making the tint, like the color, the feel of the piece more orange and warm. That way it can really bring out that it's sunset. So we're gonna speed things up here, and I'll show you guys just that, because the difference is little, but it's a big deal. Now that that's done, like I said, we're going to mess with the settings a bit so that way the background is more with the piece per se. We're going to lower down the exposures a little bit, lower down the highlights. When you lower the highlights in the background, it's a big difference. You can really tell that something's going on back there to make the central part of the piece look a lot better. And then we make the piece a little bit warmer by adjusting the temperature, upping the vibrancy a little bit, and then you have a really solid looking background, and now we can focus on doing the ground. Now by selecting the floor, or the ground, let's say, with the gradient tool, that allows us, just like we did with the background, to adjust the settings on just the floor. As long as we erase everything like the car and all that, we can really make a big difference this way too, especially whenever you adjust stuff like the exposure. I bring both the background and the floor down, and then I always up the clarity in both. I up the clarity about 15 to 20% because I just like the way it looks. Highlights, bring them down a little bit. Usually with the ground, the only thing that's different that I do from the background is I lower the saturation just a tad. That way it just brings the eye to the actual main point of the piece, which is my car. And just for the last little bit of touches here and there, just to bring the piece together, I color in the headlights with a brush tool, and I change the temperature just a tad bit. That way it really brings everything together, and I also up the clarity so it makes the headlights a little more sharper and a little bit more clear. Then I focus on doing the wheels a little bit by upping the exposure, bringing down or bringing up the highlights depending on the piece, and then I like to do just a tiny bit of contrast and add clarity to it, just like I would the headlights. It just makes it a little more sharper, a little bit more clear, and they're silver wheels, so the wheels ultimately are going to look much better if there's some clarity on it. And here we are pretty much done with this. I mean, here's before and after, and it's an astounding difference. Once again, it's one of those things that I'm very amazed by, how editing can turn a picture that I thought was ready to be thrown away and turn it into something that I think is postable, shareable, and enjoyable. This is art. It's your way of doing things, my way of doing things, however it may be. This was how I make my pictures and my art. If I wanted to desperately get something done and it's not working out just based off the picture I take, if you put some time into it, like I just did, go piece by piece, it can turn into something really nice. Did I take a long time on this? I mean, Maybe. I wouldn't really call it that much of a long time, but some people might, and I completely understand. But I had fun, and I enjoyed it, and it turned out awesome. Really, it did. Here's another look at it real quick. See, pretty cool. Really nice. It was worth it, in my opinion. Absolutely worth it. So we've come to a conclusion now where we can end everything and move on, and I go make another video. Good part about this one was I'm more comfortable in front of the camera now. Actually, I'm a lot more comfortable in front of the camera. And I also intend on making the next video sort of vlog format. I mean, especially with Saturday, which is from this date of this right now being recorded, 2 days from now, we're going to be doing rolling shots. We're going to be practicing rolling shots with my camera and friends' cars for the car group. And I'm ready. I mean, I have the vlog set up. I have the microphone on top of the camera now. I have my actual GorillaPod here that's ready to go, and a few other things for rolling shots. I got extra batteries, got a bigger memory card because I didn't have that sort of stuff. And yeah, everything's pretty much ready to go. I'm ready to kick this thing off and share my experience with you guys. I even got this little chest mount thing for my GoPro and a little thing for my phone, so I can put my phone here for higher quality content, videos. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, so it takes pretty good videos, I would say. I mean, not opposed to the camera, but it does take really good pictures and videos. So yeah, guys, seriously, if you like this video, please go ahead, leave me a like. And if you feel like it was worth your time and you want to follow me on my journey through photography, go ahead and subscribe to me and go ahead and press that bell. That way you know every single time I upload. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me again in another video, and I hope to see you here in the next few days with another one doing some pretty sick rolling shots.